No, no, no. Come on, come on, go, go. Oh shit! What's happening? Yo, yo, yo. Today we are going to test another games. But let's actually run a benchmark to see if everything works fine, okay? Okay, so we have 32 frames per second with everything on ultra. 35, it's really okay.
Hey! Cuidado, niños!
The frames are really okay, but remember that everything is as max as possible, so yeah, it's really okay. As long as it's over 33 frames per second, in my opinion, is great. But look at the quality and everything, guys. Also, I'm playing on my HD monitor, so it's really cool. Oh, 29 there, 29 there. Oh, something else. 28, yeah, the frames goes a little bit down when more objects are in the scene, you know. Ooh, what do we have here? That's quality, my friends. 29, 30 frames per second, that's quality. Look at the graphics. Everything is so perfect. Whoa. Yeah, but remember that everything is on max as possible. Look at that cool graphics, that effects, that shadow, everything is so perfect here. And these frames are still okay. Remember that I'm having the recording app, the GeForce Experience, and also the fraps I add. I should close that. So the frames are really stable, I'll say, in comparison with other games. Ooh, huge frames here. 53 frames per second on this scene here. It's so clear, everything's so clear, guys. 61, it's really okay. It's like over 30 frames per second. It's cool. 40 frames per second here, but look at that graphics, guys. It's so nice. 35, 34 frames per second. When the camera goes down, we have the frames goes a little bit down, as we can see. But look at a lot of objects are in the scene here. So cool. Okay, 33 frames per second. Okay. Yeah, remember that everything is on highest, so in my opinion the game is really playable as in this situation here. So yeah. Okay. Ooh. What's with these noises? Cannibals test bench on highest test. But let's see how is this game working. So I'm going to play a new game, guys. On normal, I set everything to normal, and let's go. What's happening, man? Oh, I'm hearing the heart beating. Square Enix.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna level it!
Hey, looks Montreal presence. Crystal Dynamics. Okay. Hit me with something. What are we doing here? Oh no! Oh no! Not that!
Get ready to jump!
No fucking way!
No fucking way!
We have no choice!
Okay. That's a high speed here.
Come on!
No way! Don't do that! Don't do that! Okay. Seatbelt on and let's go. Oh my god. What? 2 days
Jonah,
either.
you there?
Two days early. That's quality, my friends. Oh.
Shit. Jonah, I'm here. Just a little stuck. A rock hit my leg.
Don't move, I'll get help.
No, I'm right on Trinity's tail. I don't want to attract attention.
I'm on my way.
I won't be long.
Okay. Pressing E. Easy. Oh shit. We can do this. Come on. Come on, you can do this. Have to fight. Oh no, look at that leg. That's awful, guys.
Shit. Maybe through there.
Okay, I couldn't enable the frame rate. Oh, I can move actually by pressing W. It's okay. Ooh, that's so clear. I can look with the mouse. Come on, you can do this. You have to do this. I really like this graphics quality here, guys. No. Easy. Go like a snake. You can do this, I know that. Tire side of relief. Oh my god. Ooh. Let's do the start scene, guys.
Jonah, I'm out. Be careful, the way into the site is full of traps.
Trinity's not done with.
I can press tab to see the skills. Okay.
Idiot.
They're protecting something.
6 weeks, and still no solid leads on who's leading the local Trinity cell. But I talked to some people in town, and they're excited. There's a VIP coming to the Day of the Dead. Name's Dominguez. We should look into it.
W and space. Easy. Okay, W. Symbol. W again. And space. Man.
Jonah, I made it.
I'm on my way in.
What's
Almost
that?
there.
Sorry I didn't wait. Be careful.
What the fuck is that, man? So clear. Okay, what's that? Okay.
Beautiful.
It was like a loading or something like that. Yeah. Someone is listening. I think I have a problem.
Laura! Wow. Get a load of this place. Guess all that research paid off. Now we know what Trinity is after.
Yeah, they really didn't want us in here.
I'm glad we followed your father's notes. I saw where the passage collapsed on you back there. Want me to take a look at that wound?
No, I'm fine.
What is all this?
Constellations. This inscription is some sort of riddle. Pink fish.
Pink fish.
Silver-crowned mountain. There's a date here. But something's off. It looks like it was damaged, perhaps intentionally.
Why would Trinity sabotage this? They usually just destroy everything.
And no, I think the damage is older. But who would have tampered with it?
Okay.
Laura!
Jump!
We gotta get out of here.
Stop doing pixel, Laura. Let's go. Okay, I think she made some pictures up there.
Move! Move!
Okay, now I have to play. Whoa.
If you hadn't dragged me out, I'd still be in there taking pictures.
We'd still be in there. Don't know if you'd be doing much.
Jonah.
Hey, you wanna freshen up? Regroup at the cafe? Dr. Dominguez is supposed to be there tonight.
Sounds good. I'll try and decipher the riddle, see if the date has anything to do with it.
Right. Pink fish, Silver Crown Mountains, I'll look into it. By the way, this cafe is supposed to have really good food. I know the chef.
I'm not very hungry.
Oh, that's really cool.
I'm sorry.
Well, until you find the pink fish.
I found something for that. It's pink dolphins, found only in the Amazon.
It goes on. Then chase the heart of the serpent to the silver-crowned mountain. Look at this. It's the constellation Hydra, the serpent. This star is the heart. It's set in the southwest.
So southwest from the Amazon River. Brazil.
Peru.
Peru?
Okay, this date from the ruins, see? If you look closely, it is damaged. This number looks like a Maya 13, but what if it's really an 8? With precession, it...
What?
Precession. The Earth tilts, so over time, these stars appear in a different place on the horizon. Important if you're navigating by the night sky.
Okay.
In the Maya calendar, that's a 2,000-year difference. Back then, the heart of the serpent set directly to the west.
So that's why it's in Peru, not Brazil. Trinity has been looking in the wrong place.
Exactly. We need to look for the silver-crowned mountain in Peru.
With the High Consul.
Yes, sir. Even after the fiasco in Brazil. No one questions your leadership of the organization.
We've come too far to stop now.
Yes, sir. They're ready for anything.
Pardon.
O'Rourke. Dominguez wants confirmation Croft is here. You have the photo. Female, Caucasian, early 20s.
Well,
You got that? They'll find her.
good. I don't want anyone getting in there.
Okay, we got problems.
Hey, get out of my office.
Sorry.
Close the door when you leave.
Right.
Don't worry. Go. Hey.
The readings at the site are unlike anything we've ever seen.
It's the key to our next phase.
If this is it, we'll be ready.
Jonah, they've entered the dig site. It's fenced off and there's a guard at the gate. I'll find another way in.
I found a good spot. I'll watch the perimeter.
Okay, so I restarted the game. Now I'm recording on it. It seems that it's working better now. But I'm looking at the GPU and it's not really loaded. Like it's like 50%. It's really low on usage, so it means that this game is not really using a lot of GPU in this moment. Huh? Oh, we have a bow.
There's got to be more to these ruins. A Maya pyramid inside some sort of cave.
Take him into the ruins. Should be far enough out of earshot.
No, no, please. Don't make this harder than it needs to be.
What's happening here?
Come on. Just do it.
Any final...
Oh, we have execution.
Wait. I'm a government official. I'm supposed to be here. Not anymore, Mr. Lead Archaeologist. Your employment has been terminated.
Please, no. I have money. I can pay you.
Oh, that was cool. That was cool, my friends.
I won't hurt you.
Let's go.
You work for Trinity. What did they find?
Well, they've been searching for a temple entrance for many years. Today they found it. I have to go warn my sister. She's on her way here now.
Okay.
Jonah, Trinity just tried to kill a local archaeologist.
Oh God.
I have to find what they're looking for.
Oh, I can highlight objects.
This is Commander Rourke. All teams, get ready for Operation Blackout.
Is that healing or
I
something?
better take a look at those ruins.
That's cool.
I know this figure. Ishal, the goddess of the full moon. Oh, and this is Shakshal, the new moon. There's an inscription. Shakshal, the key lies beyond her gaze. Key. This is it. The entrance must be down there. Got to make my way down.
Okay. Press right click or to rappel down.
Okay, this should work.
Crouch.
All right.
Pressing A here.
This is Commander Rourke. I want the site
Yeah, the
secured
game is
ASAP.
working really
When
okay,
Dr. Dominguez
so
arrives, we all go in together.
it's really okay. Let's go down. Easy. Easy. Go back. So we might be able to. Okay.
All units, get ready. Dr. Dominguez is on his way down.
Damn, I better hurry.
Okay. Easy.
I've got this.
Oh, I have to jam, my friends. Let's go.
The statue is looking at that cave.
Hold W and oh, it's easy. Let's go.
This is it. Jonah, I'm entering a cave. We may lose contact.
Copy that. I'll keep an eye on Trinity out here.
Oh ho ho. We're inside.
This cave looks like it's usually underwater.
It's nice that you can highlight stuff and you can do stuff on the map while playing, you know. What should I do here? Oh! Hit me with something! So realistic here, guys.
Oh shit. Should have seen that coming.
Is it? That's so cool, guys. So cool. Oh shit! Oh no! Easy. Take it easy.
What is this place?
Have to reach that location. I really don't know. I'm taking everything. Oh, I think we should swim. Yep, it's the only way. Go. Oh. Must go now. Don't die, you can do this. What the fuck is that? No, 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 no. No, no, no. Come on, come on, go, go. Oh shit! What's happening? We have to do this. I'm pressing E here. I'm pressing E here. Oh my god. That was really intense here. Shit. Okay guys, so I think it's enough for this game test here. We see the benchmarks, you see everything. The game's really okay on everything on max, so yeah.